Wait 1 second. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Black Baseball Mixtape. I'm holding it down for Chiefs tonight. Per usual, we are going to be discussing postseason baseball. I hope y'all are ready for it. Outside of me, April, all about April on social media, I also have the Lewis Brinson. How are you doing tonight?
What's going on, guys? Good to be back. Another Sunday, another show after a wild night last night, man. I'm excited to get into it.
Welcome back. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's talk about last night because
Let's talk about it.
it was such a good game. And I went in thinking that it was going to be one way. What's up, One Mike? How are you? Can you hear us?
Just getting set up.
We can't hear you. All right. But yeah, last night I was, so excited watching it, and they were going back and forth for a while. And then that epic 10th inning. Tell me, what was it like for you watching it?
Man, I was actually at a Halloween party, and early Halloween party, and obviously had the game on in the living room, just sitting there watching it, locked in. And Soto comes up, man. First of all, I'm gonna say something about Soto. I'm gonna try to keep it brief. I played against Soto. I played center field against Soto. I played left field against Soto. So I could see both angles, and I could tell when he's locked in. I could tell when the pitcher had no chance, even though I was obviously on the opposing team. But I could tell when he was locked in, and that was with that center field angle. I could tell he was locked in, and if you watch the game, if you watched his mannerisms, like he was locked in. He even said in the post game interview, he's like, "Oh, I was all over him." After that one foul ball, and you could tell he was looking for something up. He wasn't chasing down. He threw in that one back foot slider. He spit on it. I was like, "Oh no, oh no," and he was just giving him the Soto shuffle and staring at him. And he just had nothing for him, and he went right into his trap. He should have got the ball maybe a two or three balls higher than where he got it, so Soto couldn't get on top. But I mean, he was locked in, and he was all over him. Like he said, he kept for once you see Soto foul off one and foul off another one, just trying to spoil you until you give in and give him that one pitch. I was like, oh, this game is done. This game is done.
I'm sorry, like I was watching, and before him, it was God, what is his name? Gleyber Torres. And he ends up striking out. So it's 2 outs. And Soto actually is on a 1-2 pitch. So I'm nervous about how it's gonna go. But when you talked about he was locked in, when he started shaking his head and doing like you can read his lips. I'm all on him, and I was just like, man, this is not going to end well.
I didn't say he was gonna. I didn't know he was gonna hit a homer, but I knew something was gonna. It was gonna be loud noises in that ballpark. Something was gonna get hit hard, for sure.
Yeah, and the reaction of the crowd. Like I know Yankee fans travel well, but it was just amazing to be able to see the dugout reaction, his immediate reaction after the home run. And you could even see like the catcher. The catcher knew immediately. He just put his glove down, and
you see him say, "Get sexy." Y'all didn't read his lips. He was like, "Get sexy, ball. Get sexy."
I missed that one. I have to go back and watch.
Go back and watch the replay. They zoom in on his lips, and he's like, "Get sexy, let's go, ball." And I was like, "Oh man." He's yelling at the ball to get sexy. Y'all go watch that. Right, go watch that back.
I'm definitely gonna watch that because I missed that, and I've watched that replay quite a few times.
Yeah, man. He's talking to it.
But I felt a little bad for Gaddis because once he got in that dugout and his head was down, you knew like that was your moment. That was your chance. But I was also very impressed with the Yankees pitching. The
Cousins shut it down.
Yes.
Shut it down. Without him, I don't know, man. The bullpen was a little wavered. Like they've been using guys left and right. Luke Weaver. I mean, obviously he threw the most pitches out of everybody in that series, but he just shut it down. But Cousins came in and looked unhittable and kept the Yankees in it kept the game tied for the rest of the game until Soto takes over. But yeah, the Yankees bullpen did a great job yesterday of keeping the game tied and keeping the Guardians at bay for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely deserve a lot of praise because they definitely have had some shaky moments. And shout out
Hmm.
to John Carlos Stanton for
Man.
winning the ALCS MVP. And
Yeah.
after he wins it, he makes the comment, "Yeah, this is not the trophy I want. I want the other one."
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. But he's a Guardian killer. I think he has like 9 home runs, some crazy against the Guardians in the playoffs. Yeah, he's just locked in on another level. But that's what everybody expected Judge to be. And Judge
Right.
has the ultimate protection right now. And Judge is starting to get it going a little bit. But watch out for the Yankees in the World Series, man. I don't care who they face. If they face the Dodgers, it's going to be tough. If they face the Mets, it's going to be tough because Miracle Mets, who knows what they're going to do. But if Judge is starting to click and Soto is
Mhm.
going to be Soto and Stanton's behind him protecting him, look out, man. Look
Yeah,
out.
because you have your role players also showing up. You got Gleyber Torres starting it off. You have a couple of the other role
Yeah.
players who are batting very well. They need to work on the base running a little bit,
A
but
little bit, a little bit. We'll get that in tag. Yeah, we'll figure that out in the World Series. Have a day or two off. Work on
right.
base
But they
running.
look real locked in and dangerous right now. I can say like as a Dodger fan, I'm a little hesitant about walking into that space, but I think it's also a good thing to see the Yankees in this moment.
Yeah.
What has been like 14 years since they've actually made it to a World Series. So
Hmm.
I have a question for you. What do you think about this for baseball as far
Hmm.
as a team as historical as the Yankees finally making it back to the World Series?
I think that's huge for baseball because I mean, they're big Yankee, like you said before. Yankee fans travel. Yankee fans are all over the world. Um, that means the world's gonna be watching, with all their fans and whatnot. I think it's huge for baseball to have the Yankees back in the World Series. I think the matchup that MLB wants to see just for revenue and just money wise and have the most people watching ever is the Dodgers and Yankees in the World
Mhm.
Series. But I think what the fans want to see, and God bless New York if the Mets make it to the World Series, because that flights, trains, subways, taxis, there will be
Mhm.
Ubers, nothing will be available. Because as a fan, I want to see Subway Series. I mean, it's New York, bright lights. I'm sure the players would love that. All you got to do is drive, 30, 45 minutes, however far the stadiums are apart. But I'm sure the players would appreciate that. But to have the Yankees back in the World Series is huge for baseball. Huge.
Okay, so I have a question for you on the
Hmm.
opposite side of it. I mean, obviously, I want to buy Coastal World Series. Why doesn't that appeal to you as much as the Subway Series?
Right. So I'm taking it as a player side. Like, yeah, it would be cool to go to LA. It's less, the weather's a little nicer.
Mhm.
Dodger Stadium. You ask any player that has played in Dodger Stadium, it's one of the best out there. You got the 5 decks. The stadium's rowdy. It's rocking. The sound system is amazing in center field. Man, I can't even hear my off outfielders. I can't hear when I'm playing center field in Dodger Stadium. I can't hear the fans yelling all kind of stuff at me. That's how loud the
What?
speaker system is. So just the LA feel, that'd be nice. Like I said, weather wise, but again, I'm biased of a player, and then making the trip all the way across
Mhm.
country, and then having to fly back and forth. Yeah, you got off days, but you got 2 off days in there. But I would rather stay at home in my bed. If I'm the Yankees or if I'm the Mets, you know what I'm saying? I would rather, stay in my bed for the World Series and have my family there instead of having to coordinate hotels and coordinate I'm sure the teams take care of it, but coordinate bus ride, family buses, and where's everybody at and where you sitting and all this other stuff. So player perspective, I would rather it be in New York. Let me just stay in New York. But obviously if I'm a Dodger fan, bring that thing out to LA.
Yeah, and I think that's a perspective that I didn't think about because I'm a Southern girl. So
Hmm.
you thinking about using the subways, using the taxis, and the amount of fans that are just out in New York for both teams. That is
Right.
just an epic feel for Major League Baseball, regardless of who makes it. And I'm
Mhm.
just excited to see it because even like people who are casual fans, I think that there's been an excitement surrounding this postseason that we haven't had in a long time. When was the
Hmm.
last time you felt this kind of excitement in the postseason?
Man, I honestly, I mean, postseasons in the past have been exciting. The Phillies, their run,
Yes.
that was exciting with Bryce Harper going going off. Uh, what's Bryson Stott hitting a
Hmm.
big home run. Castellanos, when he gets in the playoffs, he turns into a
Hmm.
different player. Even though he's already a superstar, he just kicks it up another gear. I'd say I don't know, man. Last time Cleveland was in the World Series when Lindor was the starting shortstop for Cleveland. That Cubs and
Yes.
Indians series, and then leading up to that, the Guardians or the Indians at the time taking out the
Right.
Yankees to get to the World Series. That was pretty exciting. And then obviously with the Cubs never winning, and then they're able to pull that out and win their first championship in
Over.
170,000 years. So that was fun to watch that postseason. But I mean, postseason baseball, especially for a player, like you love seeing, you see all your guys out there that you know. I'm watching the Yankees right now, and I'm watching my little brother in Jazz. Man, I'm so happy and proud of him, and
Yes.
and I can't wait to see what he has in store in the World Series. Man, the bright lights don't affect him. I think he's gonna pick it up in the World Series for all y'all that are like Jazz ain't done nothing in the in the playoffs. Jazz would be all right. You know what I'm saying? Y'all wouldn't be there if it weren't for Jazz. So I think this postseason though,
Yes.
edging my seat at all times. At all times, and the teams and the player, the superstars that are in it, everybody wanted Shohei Ohtani deep in the playoffs. Everybody wanted Soto and Judge deep in the playoffs, and you might have a World Series matchup. So, yeah, man, this playoffs has been crazy, crazy, man.
I will tell you, and it's been crazy because it's been from the wild card games
Yeah.
have been crazy, and then you go to the division series. That Padres Dodgers one was
Mm-hmm.
absolutely insane, and then you have the division series, somewhat between the Phillies and Mets, and then
Mm-hmm.
run it through the. It just was, and then the Tigers run. So
Yeah.
it's just been so many great series, and even though the Yankees won in 5 games, I think it's important that we can't discount that game 4 game was also pretty awesome
Mm-hmm.
when he hit that walk off, and then you see the Soto one. So there have been so many memorable moments as well. Before the episode, I was talking to Cheats about how even Vope is a New York guy. We talked a lot about
Mm-hmm.
Jack Flaherty being an LA guy, but
Yeah.
Vope also is a New York guy. I saw a picture of him from the 2009 parade. So
Mm-hmm.
I love the stories that are also tagged with this whole postseason as well. And I'm just finding it to be such a monumental moment. And I think we're going to look back at this season, regular season, with no one making 100 wins, to the postseason,
Mm-hmm.
and really just celebrating all that it's given us.
Absolutely, man.
And even going back to Jazz, like, because people have
Mm-hmm.
been making little slick marks, and Jazz is my guy, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't like hearing it.
He could take it. He loves it, as you saw when he ran out and everybody was booing him. He loves that. Talk the
Right.
more crap you talk, the more fired up
He
he gets.
feeds
He
off
loves
of
it.
it. But he's
Yeah.
been playing some excellent defense too, and I think that's something. At third, he's made some incredible plays there. But
Mm-hmm.
even to watch him in the celebration last night, I was so happy to see him be in the moment with his teammates, because there have been so many off stories about who he is, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just not what we were able to see. So to see him be able to celebrate and make it to that point, I'm with you. I can't wait to see what he does in
I
the next.
can't wait. I'm excited. I think he's gonna have a big World Series, man. Steal.
I
I
agree.
call. I'm calling right now. Jazz gonna steal 5 bags in the World Series. Yeah.
Really?
He gonna steal 5 bags in the World Series. You heard it here first.
He gonna steal 5 bags off of Will Smith if the Dodgers make it?
Yes, he will. Yes, he will. I'm calling it. I have all kinds of respect for Will Smith and Austin Barnes, but Jazz is they're gonna need him. They're gonna need him
Right.
to run. They're gonna. That's two slugging teams. You're gonna need, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna need some base runners. You're gonna need somebody to make something happen, man. That's two good teams, especially if the Dodgers make it to the World Series. And I mean, if the Mets make it, who knows what's gonna happen? If the Mets make it, it's
Right.
going seven. I feel like I don't know.
Uh,
You never know with the Mets. Now that everybody counted them out, and then you count them in, and like, oh, there they go again, and then now they're back in it. I don't get it.
Now let's shift gears because I'm watching as well, and I just see Teoscar Hernandez had his first hit for the NLCS. He's been
Hmm.
0 for I don't know how many at bats, but he
Yeah.
finally got his first hit. And I want to know, who do you think are the X factors for tonight's game between the Mets and the Dodgers? Who do you have for each team?
I think Teoscar for sure. I've played against Teoscar in the minor leagues, and he's always been a great hitter, always been a threat at the plate. So I think Teoscar, if they can get him going, obviously Freddie Freeman's not playing tonight, huh?
He's not. He's not
He
on the
is not
roster.
playing tonight, so he's got to step in and Freddie Freeman's role and kind
Mm-hmm.
of back up Mookie and back up Shohei.
Mm-hmm.
Tough at bats against Sean Manaea, man, especially
Yes.
for Shohei, man. He's coming behind him. I don't care who you are. Shohei, best hitter on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough at bat, especially he's throwing 94, 95. Got a little bit of a shadow in there. I don't think there's too many. I don't think they're too bad today. But coming from the first base dugout, I feel like Manai. So that's a tough matchup for him. Mookie didn't fare too well against him last time, so I
Mm-hmm.
think Teoscar's gotta step up like he did in the division series, and get those big hits. It doesn't have to necessarily be a big homer, but men on base. If those guys happen to get on base, he's got to do his job and get those guys in, and I think he will. And then with the Mets. I think it's just Francisco Lindor, the guy that has saved their season multiple times, and the guy that has Flushing Queens on his back right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's got to be Lindor. He's got to be the table setter. He's got to get on base. He's got to just be Lindor. Honestly, he has taken in the role as the leader of that clubhouse
Mm-hmm.
and the leader of the Mets, and has proven this year that he's still MVP caliber. And I mean, obviously, him not being, who everybody thought he would be and have multiple MVP seasons, that guy was the best shortstop in baseball at
Yes.
one point. So I never like to disrespect Francisco Lindor, even if he has the injuries or he's hitting 220, whatever he's hitting. He's still one of the best players in the league, and he proved it this year. So I think he's the X factor for the Mets. He's just got to continue to be Francisco Lindor and continue to lead this team.
Yeah, and I was watching a play from him a couple games ago when he robbed Mookie of that play going into the outfield. Like, people
Oh,
really underestimate his defensive skills and
and he
how he's
works
able to
hard.
move.
He works
Yes.
hard, man. He's out there early. He's not one of the veterans that's going to show up at, whenever he want. Nah, he's going there. He's working on his swing. He's working on his defense. Like, he takes pride in putting in the work. So, and you see the results from it.
Yeah, I had Lindor for my X factor, but from the Dodgers, the guy who just hit, Tommy Edman, is my X factor. And for
Hmm.
me, he's been one of the best pickups for the Dodgers at the deadline. He wasn't able to
Hmm.
play because he had that wrist injury and another injury, and so people were wondering, like, is he even going to be a player that
Hmm.
will have a factor for the Dodgers in the second half of the season, and he's just been phenomenal. So we're up now 2-1 with one out, and I'm happy to see what he's able to do for the team offensively and defensively, especially with Miguel Rojas going down with
Hmm.
a groin injury, and
Hmm.
the fact that Edmund also can play center field as needed. So
Hmm.
yeah, those are going to be my X factors right
I
now.
like it. I like that. I like
Yeah,
that X
it's
factor.
going to be a good one. But you also brought up Freddie Freeman. And
Hmm.
one of the reasons why, well, the main reason why everybody knows he has this ankle injury that's been bothering him.
Right.
And I remember in the NLDS, there was a specific play that Muncie made. And I was texting my friend and I was like, I don't think Freddie makes that play on that ankle. And then they shoot to Freddie's face, and he's like,
Mm-hmm.
so right now, Dave was talking about how he believes the ankle is also playing a role in his batting along
Mm-hmm.
with his defensive capabilities. Is that something that you know a lot of people have faced in the field?
Yeah, I think it's his right ankle, if I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken. So that's his plant foot. So
Hmm. Yes.
he, what I'm saying, and he doesn't have a huge stride. Freddie doesn't have a leg kick or anything. Kind of picks it up and puts it down.
Hmm.
If anything, like kind of a toe tap a little bit.
Hmm.
So he relies on that ankle. So if he gets a swing off, he's got to kind of brace himself on one leg almost. And
Right.
Freddie's very balanced. You see
Hmm.
Freddie's stance, wide stance. He likes to be in his legs. He's very, very balanced. So you got one ankle that's not, doing what it needs to do and as flexible as it is. Because I've heard from a couple guys that they've interviewed. Max Muncy said it. He's like, if you see Freddie's ankle right now, it does not look good. Like it's not. It does not look good. And I've had a sprained ankle. I've had a high ankle sprain where your ankle
Hmm.
swells up to a grapefruit, and you can't put any weight on it. You can tape it up as much as you want, but it's the playoffs, and Freddie's a gamer.
Right.
Playing against Freddie um, for 4 years in when he was with the Braves, and
Hmm.
he's a gamer. He's a gnat. He's just annoying to come up, and he's in just in a big situation. He's going to come up big. He is, and there's not a defense that you can put out there because he can hit the ball anywhere whenever he wants. It seems like, but it's tough when you're hitting on one leg. Obviously, you try to work in the adrenaline. Obviously, he's got a bunch of adrenaline. He's probably got a couple pills in there, a couple
Hmm.
Tylenol, a couple Advil, whatever he takes, and wrapping the hell out of that ankle. But it's tough, man. You just played 100 and some games on your body. Your body's already weary, and that ankle seems like it really is really bothering him, man. He could barely play
Yes.
first base and jog out there. And I give him credit for even going out there. I mean, it's the playoffs. He knows he needs to be in that lineup, but also he's a veteran and knows that if I'm out here and I can't help my team, I might as well not be out here and get somebody in there that can move and maybe help the team and score a run when ball in the gap when Freddie's base to base right now. So smart veteran play by him. I respect him for that, and I respect the hell out of him for going out there and trying to play on
Hmm.
his ankle. But you gotta get somebody else in there. But I hate to see it because I have a ton of respect for Freddie Freeman,
Right.
um, and his game and how hard he works and his paying attention to detail. He pays attention to every little detail,
Hmm.
especially when it comes to hitting. And I mean, let's not forget like Gold Glover at first base.
Right.
So that's a big loss for the Dodgers, but I know he's in the dugout cheering those guys on, and I'm sure if he can get a pinch hit, I'm sure you will see him later in
Right.
the game if they need him.
So Sean Mania is on the mound, and he looks like he's struggling a little bit in this first inning. However, he has
Yeah.
been lights out. Like I'm talking
Mm.
about, I think his ERA was 2.6 something coming
Mm.
into this particular game, and I was wondering exactly how this would affect him and also the Dodgers coming in, being that they've already seen him,
Yeah.
coming around. From the previous game. How do
Mm.
you think this game goes with him on the mound?
I mean, I'm not sure. I can kind of see it in my reflection, in my mirror outside. I can't see the score or anything. I could just see kind
It's
of
two
who's
to one.
pitching. It's 2-1 Dodgers right now.
Yeah, and they already have someone warming up
I saw Phil Mayton warming
in
up.
the bullpen.
Yeah, he's like the long kind of cleanup guy, and Pajes is up. Oh.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think it just depends. Like you said, they've seen him already. The good Dodger lineup, veteran Dodger
Mhm.
lineup. You can't come at him with the same thing twice. They're gonna make their adjustments.
Mhm.
He did do a great job last time of shutting them down. He shut down Otani, shut down
Mhm.
Betts. Um, only gave up 2 hits and only gave up I think three or two earned runs, but 3 runs total.
Mhm.
One mistake to Max Muncy, it happens, but I think that he is. It's hard to tell. Like I said, man, these Dodgers have already seen him, and they've seen
Mhm.
him in this ballpark. So
Right.
you already have that visual, and I feel like you can't really fool the Dodgers twice. in that little of a span. So we'll see. But obviously it's 2-1 right now. We'll see how long his leash is today.
Yes, especially because
Hmm.
this is a win or go home scenario. So it's
Yeah.
not
So
like
if
you can
yeah,
think
he's
about
got
it.
one more. I'd say he's got maybe one more base runner, maybe one more run, and they gotta switch it up. You gotta
Yeah.
switch it up.
So he's starting for the Mets, but the Dodgers had Michael Kopech, who was also
Hmm.
an acquisition at the trade deadline, and
Hmm.
I was shocked when we got him, but he has played phenomenal.
Yeah.
And in seeing how his season has gone, he lost his starting role, so he became a reliever, and his hope was to become a starter again, which he
Hmm.
has the ability to be able to do today. I
Hmm.
I don't know if he's gonna have any more innings, but to see him out there as a starter again, I was proud. I mean, he didn't have we somebody had scored a run off of him, but
Hmm.
I definitely was happy to see him out there in the form. And like I said, his postseason stats are just phenomenal.
I mean, he's that type of dude, though. He's obviously he wants to get back to starting. That's what he is. Most pitchers
Mhm.
are starters. They just find themselves in the bullpen. Let's not forget Josh Hader was a
Yes.
starter before he got moved into the closer role and into the bullpen, and rest is history. So,
Mhm.
um, you go out there, you come out there blowing smoke. You can go out there. You maybe most I don't think he's pitched more than 2 innings at a time in a game.
Mhm.
So you come out there and blow somebody's doors off for an inning. You know what I'm saying? Dave Roberts obviously has the utmost confidence in him to bring him
Mhm.
in high leverage situations, closer role, setup role, seventh inning, sixth inning. If they need to get somebody out, if they're going through the meat of the order. So I mean, I take pride in that, but I also do understand, like, oh man, I'm a starter. I feel I could start. That's just the competitive nature in all of us. Like, no, man, I'll prove to you that I can start. But
Right.
for now, your team needs you in the bullpen. Stay in the bullpen. Blow somebody's doors off. Come in there throwing 100, with a nasty slider. Like, just keep doing your job, and then obviously maybe revisit starting next year. But he's been doing a hell of a job out the bullpen, and looks like he's held his own so far. Is the top is going to be top of three coming up?
I think top of the second.
Top of the second? Okay. So
Yes.
I mean, I would say I would think he's an opener for the Dodgers. I can't see him going more than 2 innings.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens. But the Dodgers bullpen, when they have bullpen days, besides that one game, they shut it down, and that's in the playoffs. Man, you've seen these guys so many times.
Hmm.
Hitters start to get used to that, and they start
Right.
to pick up tendencies. And if you're tipping, and they pick up
Mhm.
on patterns of big league hitters. No matter who's in the lineup that day, you're still facing big league hitters. So in a sense, they get used to you, and they
Right.
understand and look at it with Soto. How many
Right.
times how many times did he face him in this? How many times did Gaddis pitch against the Yankees in high leverage situations?
Hmm.
You start to pick up tendencies, and Soto's a smart hitter, and all these guys are smart hitters. So. Um, I don't know if you want to give him too many looks at the same pitcher unless he shut it down. And Dave Ross is an amazing manager, so I'm sure he could
Yes.
see that.
And that's the thing with Dave. Dave knows that he doesn't want the whole lineup to see you too many times because
Yeah.
once they've seen you once, they know exactly how to be able to adjust to you at that plate. And that's
Hmm.
not a risk that he's willing to take in a closeout game.
Right.
And I for one, appreciate that because I don't want to see the Mets in the game seven.
No,
I
nobody wants to go to
don't want to see
game
the
seven.
Mets in the
End
game
this
seven.
now. End it right now.
And I was saying, like on one of the other shows, the thing about the Mets is that they're scary the entire game. You just
Hmm.
don't know when they're gonna turn it on.
Yeah.
They have like this superpower or something that just clicks in them or within a certain player. And as they get on the base or somebody does something and that completely changes the dynamics of the game. We saw it with the Phillies. We saw it, a couple of nights ago. You just don't know when they are going to be that particular team. And it can happen in
Hmm.
the eighth inning. It can happen in the third inning.
Yeah.
You
You give enough. You give him outs, and you don't score runs, and you let them stay in the game too long. Yeah. They'll find a way somehow. Oh, he's still in the game. Kopech's still in the game, or
No,
no?
that's Casparius.
Never mind. Like I said, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it backwards.
Oh, that's
So
okay.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I kind of compare it to a little bit. I mean, I don't. We had some good players in 2020 with the Marlins, man. Like obviously had 19 guys go down with COVID, and
Hmm.
down the stretch, like we were beating teams out nobody thought we could beat, or that we shouldn't been on the field with. We beat the Cubs in the wild card series.
Right.
Shouldn't have been on the field with them. Um, Obviously, the payroll of the Mets is a little bit different nowadays.
A lot
Nowadays,
of bit
but
different.
a little bit different, just a little higher. But no, you just have that. You go through things. The Mets have gone through. This core of guys have gone through so much together, and they've come up together, and they've lost together. They've won a little bit together. They've gotten booed together by their own fans. So that starts to build up, and that builds a callus over time. And then you get hot at the right time. It's like, you know what, guys, I love you. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'll do anything we need to win. And you add a couple pieces. You add a Starling Marte. You add a Alvarez that
Hmm.
is a young talent, gonna get it going here in the playoffs. You add a Tyron Taylor that can go and play Gold Glove center field. You add these different pieces along with these guys that have been together for so long, and they've been through the ups and downs for so many years. And now they're finally getting their opportunity, and those guys are dangerous, man. They're already
Very.
talented group of guys, but
Right.
now they're dangerous. Now you're in the playoffs. Now it's no holds barred. Now I ain't got nothing. It's time to win a ring. And it's honestly about time for this team. I mean, the team is super, super, super talented,
They are.
regardless of the money. Like super talented. So it's like that, man. You've been with these guys so long. You just want to fight and scratch and claw until you
Mhm.
guys get to that ultimate goal, which is the World Series.
And being that for the Mets, I know a lot of them are on 1 year contracts.
Yeah.
How many of these guys do you think actually return next year to run it back, regardless of, whether they win the NLCS and head to the World Series, or, they go home?
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough
Yeah.
to say because you put pieces together to win now, and
Hmm.
you think about all that other stuff afterwards. I'm
Okay.
sure the front office has a plan in place
Yes.
where we are looking at this guy to sign back. We're looking at this guy, but ultimately, like we need this guy to win this ring, and then after that, good luck to you, sayonara. Um,
Especially with the Soto sweepstakes. I
yeah.
mean, we can't ignore the fact that
I
the
hope and pray the Yankees put that blank check. Just put it in his locker. Just do it. Just do it. You know you're gonna pay him. You know what he wants. I'm sure you all been talking all year. And I mean, that last night just up the
Yes, that
price tag.
solidified it for me. I'm
Yeah.
like, where the check should have, you right. It should have already been in the locker. Go ahead
Mm-hmm.
and sign it, and we can move forward. Because one of the things that Soto does is he compliments his teammates very well, and that's
Yeah.
something that I did not see when he was in San Diego at all. And
Mm-hmm.
not even that, like just looks excited to be in New York. He has completely embraced the culture of being a Yankee. And I'm proud that, I get to watch him have that kind of excitement. And he's already a champion. So it's not like he doesn't
Yeah.
know what it means to be there.
And won it young too against a
Yes.
Astros team that they shouldn't even been on the field with. And won it really young and hit a couple big home runs on couple
Yes.
against a couple Hall of Famers. So the bright lights do not scare this man. If
At
anything,
all.
they just enhance him. He wants more bright lights. Give me more pressure. Give me things that I can't do because I'm gonna prove you wrong. And he's just on a team filled with those guys. I think with the Padres are a great team. And they finally came together and threw egos aside
Mhm.
and said, listen, we're gonna
We
fight for
can
each
win.
other and we can win this thing if we stick together. I think when he was with the Padres, they had the ego bug a little bit. And Juan Soto's a great teammate. Not saying
Mhm.
they don't have great teammates
Right.
on the Padres, because Manny Machado, you saw him bring them together,
Right.
and great teammate. You saw Tatis step up with all his yelling and bat flipping and bat flips and all the stuff that he does. Profar, like that's a good group of guys, and those guys are good teammates. But I think Soto feeds off of like good energy. I don't know if the Padres
Mhm.
had good energy when he was there. and Soto feeds off of that. So with Judge, you see Judge, great dude, great character, great player,
Mm-hmm.
MVP.
Great
You have
leader.
great leader. You have other leaders in that clubhouse that aren't maybe as vocal. I feel like Judge
Mm-hmm.
isn't that vocal. I feel like Stanton isn't that vocal. I don't know if they necessarily have a vocal leader. Maybe Garrett Cole,
Mm-hmm.
as a vocal guy. But I think just the clubhouse in general that Soto is in now, he can feed off of. Okay, you guys
Mm-hmm.
really fight for each other. Like y'all are like in it for the right reasons. Again, not to say the Padres weren't,
Right.
but I feel like the energy is just a lot better in the Yankee clubhouse. Plus, I heard they got a sushi chef in their clubhouse. I heard they got
Yeah, that would make
a
me
steak
happy and
chef.
want to come
I
to
heard they
work
got,
too.
yeah, man. I heard they got Peter Lugers in their clubhouse, man. I would be in a good mood too in the Yankees clubhouse. I heard they got all kind of stuff in there, man. So
Can someone
I would be in
confirm for
good
us,
spirits too.
please?
I done heard some things. I done heard some things.
But
I done been around.
listen, I will say too, as far as the Padres, we know that they also changed managers. So
Right.
Mike Schilt, for me, like I saw the immediate shift whenever he became a manager, how he would go out and try to protect his players from being
Mm-hmm.
ejected and so forth. I think that also changed the dynamics of the Padres team versus the previous manager. And I wonder
Mm-hmm.
what kind of effect that would have had when Soto was there. But I just feel like, again, New York is the perfect fit for him. And I hope that's something that doesn't change. But if it
Mm-hmm.
does, we know that the Mets are in. They're ready to play ball with it. Are there any other
Man,
teams that you think would be in on the people are saying LA? I don't think we are in it.
that's enough. If he goes to LA, I'm not watching baseball no more.
No,
I'm done.
let me tell you
I
something.
can't do
I
it.
think sometimes they use that as like a bargaining leverage or something.
Yeah.
I don't see him coming to us at all. But I want him to stay on the East Coast. I want him to stay there. But besides them, do you think maybe the Phillies or another team have a chance at him?
I think there's a couple teams. I think the Giants maybe.
Mm,
I think the Giants. I hope he stays with the Yankees. I think
yes.
Soto and Judge on the same team is just good
Yes,
for baseball.
I
I'm
agree.
sorry. So I hope he stays with the Yankees. I like seeing Juan Soto in a Yankee uniform. Like
Mm,
that looks right. That looks proper. Um, I think the Giants and I think obviously the Yankees, maybe the Mets might be in it, maybe the Phillies. They got Castellanos there in right field. So I don't
right.
know if you move him over to left and just
Mhm.
have Schwarber DH full time. Um, but don't be surprised if the Nationals come out of the field. Don't be surprised they pull a little okey doke, trade him, and then like get all the pieces that we got back from him, and then bring him back and try to build it. But I don't know. I don't know. I done heard some things, so I don't know. Don't be surprised if the Nationals, just come out the back door and sneak up Soto. But I see him staying in New
Yes,
York though.
I
I
did.
see him staying in New York. I think he signed a contract last night. I think that's what happened. I think they signed it. They'll announce it in like
Right.
December, January, like maybe before Christmas, but he already signed a contract.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Well, y'all, we are about 10 minutes out from the end of the show. This has been so good. Now, I have a question for you. How
What's
have
that?
your AL and NL brackets gone? Because I'm just,
Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish.
I like, my brackets are good
Okay.
outside of the Phillies Mets.
Right.
And who did I have? I did not have the Tigers winning. I think those were the only two. But I did have the Guardians and Yankees meeting up in the ALCS.
I did too.
And I had the Dodgers and Phillies
I did
meeting
too.
in the NLCS. That was my only that was
Yeah.
my only one. What
Yeah.
about
I
you?
had the Phillies win it at all. I thought it was their time. Yeah, I thought it was their time. I said it in an interview on MLB Network Radio, and I said it. I will admit it. I said that the Phillies just I thought they had all the pieces. They had like the pitching, they had the lineup went
Hmm.
crazy. Just the lineup went absolutely cold, like
Yes.
straight up cold. And that's how it is. That's how it goes in the playoffs, man. Whoever's
Right.
hot, whoever's got the hot hand. And the Mets coming off the walk off Pete Alonso most
Yes.
epic home run, it might be in Mets history,
Yes.
to send them to the DS, man. Like, it's hard to stop that momentum. That's so much momentum down to their last strike, and
Yes.
he goes oppo. And I told everyone, like, man, if Pete Alonso is going to oppo, this is not good for anybody that plays the Mets. Straight up. If he's going oppo like that, but yeah, I had the Phillies getting past the Mets, and then I had them. I had them yeah, I had them winning. So, but the AL side, I did. I said the Tigers, if they got past the Guardians, would be very dangerous. Like if they got past the DS, because they got past obviously wild card series, they got past that, and then just I mean fizzled out with the Guardian. The Guardian, I feel like was just better team, more experienced. They gave them a run for their money, but if the Tigers got past the Guardians, I was gonna ooh, maybe the Tigers might mess around and shock the world. But the AL side, I had the Guardians and Yankees lining up, and then I had the Yankees being in the World Series, and then I had now I would have the Dodgers and Yankees, and I got the Yankees beating the Dodgers. But like you can't go back. Yeah, I'm sorry. You can't go back and change that. Just I don't know, man. The Yankees, I feel like they're just clicking, man. And so are the Dodgers. So are the
Yeah,
Dodgers, but I don't know. They're just clicking. And if Freddie Freeman being out of that lineup is huge. I think it's
it
it's
is.
bigger than you know what people think.
I agree.
But they do have a deep lineup. Kike Hernandez hit ninth, and he has
Yes.
15 postseason home runs. Are you kidding me? So
Postseason PK is a different animal.
different person. Player B, like when you're playing golf, player B is always better. Player B is always better.
Now,
But yeah, my bracket got blown up in the DS. Blown up.
I will say that one piece for the Dodgers, because I watch them all the time, all
Hmm.
year. Here comes Shohei, and there's a runner on base, and we know how that has gone
Uh
all
oh.
postseason.
Uh oh.
But one thing about the Dodgers, because you mentioned Freddie being out of the lineup, and this team has had so many injuries. And
Hmm.
I was talking about this with my dad, and I have wondered if that has prepared them for this moment as well. Like we keep losing people as we go on, but
Yeah.
the team had to learn how to be able to click without key players throughout the
Hmm.
entire season. So Freddie being out, and Muncy moving, which shout out to Muncy because I don't think that he gets enough credit for being a player who just is able to adjust and do whatever is best for the team, whether it's going to second, whether it's going to first,
Yeah.
doing whatever. But I think that's actually an advantage for the Dodgers to have had all of these things occur throughout the season. And now you see it. And what are they still doing? They're still fighting because I have, in the group chats with my friends, it's like, we're not doing nothing with this team. This team, it's over. Thank you,
Yeah.
fans. There's nothing, but there's a fight in them that they're fighting for each other despite it. So I'm pleased to be able to watch it, especially with the pitchers. Like
Hmm.
pretty much lost everybody. So
Yeah.
the racing game is really that's what we just have to roll with.
Yeah. You just have a bunch of veteran dudes that know how to play the game and just been
Yes.
through everything. Imagine like they've just been through it all. You got guys that have won rings before,
Hmm.
everywhere. You got a bullpen that's still strong. Obviously, the starting pitching like wasn't there technically, but I mean,
Right.
Flaherty, besides that last game, has been a godsend for them.
Yes.
Their openers, like they just got guys that can just plug in and give you
Yes.
one or two innings at the front because you hold the team down early in the game, it gives you obviously a
Yes.
better chance to win the game. But
Mhm.
and then that lineup, they just have so many pieces, especially on the bench. They
Yes.
have a good bench, and everybody knows their role, and they know their role when they need to step up and into a different role. If I need to go, and they got a bunch of guys that can play everywhere. You got obviously Edmund. Hedman was a huge pickup for them.
Yes.
So the fact that he can step in and step up, if he needs to play first, I'm sure he can go over there and slide to
Right.
first base if somebody gets hurt.
So can
But
Kike.
so can Kike. Exactly. Kike can play center. I'm pretty sure Kike can go in there and catch.
Yeah.
So you just have guys on the bench that are reliable as well. So if guys go down, we could step up until those guys get back, and then okay, we'll go back into our role. Not every team has that, and then you definitely need that in the playoffs, man. Guys, it's a long season, and especially for these teams that go deep in the playoffs every year, that's a lot of wear and tear in your body. That's a little bit of time off that you have to come back, and guys are firing it up in November, early November, late November, and then you got pretty much 2 months, and then after Christmas, it's spring training. Like
Yes.
so, it's you got guys going early and earlier and earlier every year to spring training. So that's a lot in your body, man, to play for that long, and then going in the playoffs and
Mhm.
just mentally exhausted. Not only physically, because obviously you're just playing and you're running around and you're hitting, you're swinging, your back hurts, your feet hurt, you've been in cleats for 9 months, like but mentally and adrenaline wise, you're just filled with so much adrenaline all day, every
Mhm.
day, from the moment you wake up. I played in front of no fans in the playoffs, and I knew my adrenaline was going crazy. I can imagine 50,000 fans going nuts. I know I'm on TV. There's, somebody's yelling at me that I suck, and then there's another guy telling me, "Hey, man, we need you. We need you. We're gonna win this ring, right?" And it's just, it's a lot to take in. It's a lot on the body. So you to have guys on the bench that can step up, step in people's roles, and then when like I said, when guys get back and they get healthy, all right, I'll go back on the bench, and whenever you need me, I'll be ready. So that's
Right.
a big thing that the Dodgers have, and that can, potentially win them another ring, man.
Yeah. All right. So I have one more question for you before we head out. Like,
All
I
right.
have been so impressed with Shohei Ohtani and his first postseason outing.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the stats. We've seen how excited he is
Yeah.
about it, and I think it's great for baseball. I
Mm.
know a lot of people are not fans of the fact where they have the two batters away little picture in the corner whenever
Yeah.
he's up.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Like, how has this gone for his first postseason? I'm excited to see exactly what he's going to do next year as a pitcher
Oh,
and a DHer. I just can't
yeah.
imagine what that's going to be. But what do you think his first postseason? How has that gone?
I think it's going great. I mean, everybody expected him to come out and hit 600, but yeah, man, it's the postseason.
Right.
He's never been there, bright lights, but Shohei does not. If you watch the games and if you've been watching Shohei, he does not get phased by too
No.
much. You know what I'm saying? So, and like you said, a lot of people are like, I love seeing him show emotion. Love that. I
Yes.
love to see him bat flip. I love to see him walk it off. Like, I like to see him with the Conor McGregor walk down to first base, like, yeah, I got you, 15 rows deep. Like, I love to see that. I love him stepping up in the role that he is. And I can't wait to see him pitch next year. I can't imagine him, on the mound and hitting in the playoffs, and he's going to do that for many years to come. But I
Mhm.
think it's been great, and the fact that he doesn't hit with runners on, he crushed that the other night. It's just a coincidence. I feel like that was just
Yeah.
a baseball coincidence. He just didn't happen to hit with guys on. It's not a mental thing. I don't think it's anything to do with that. I don't think that affects a guy like Shohei too much. So I think it's been great. He's stepped up. He's hit homers. He's hit
Mhm.
doubles. He's gotten on base. He's walked. He's taken his walks when he knows they're pitching around him. And Mookie has stepped up and said, "Oh, yo, wait, well, y'all didn't y'all forgot that I'm Mookie Betts too, though." Like,
Because
but
they
and
did.
he took offense to that, and I like that. I
And
like to see
did.
that. But yeah, Shohei has had a great postseason. I think he's gonna continue to have great postseasons again because the pressure just doesn't get to him. And we're seeing players in this postseason on the Yankees and on the Dodgers and on the Mets. Mark Vientos, young
Yes.
guy that hasn't. I mean, want to give him his little flowers before we head off. Like, this man has
Yes.
been the best hitter in the postseason
Scares
thus
me
far,
every time he comes up to bat.
and he has earned it. He lives down here, and I worked out with him last offseason. He has earned every homer, every base hit, and everything that he gets after this postseason. So I'm happy and proud of him as well. But you got just guys stepping up, and they just have that clutch gene that it's like, listen, I don't get affected by the pressure. I don't care who's yelling at me. I don't care who says I can't do something. I'm gonna prove you wrong. And I'd love to see Shohei show all his emotion, man. And they need to teach him they need to teach him more words in English. He says "attaboy" a lot. If you read his lips, I'm a big lip reader and seeing what
Okay.
guys are saying. He says "attaboy" a lot. He needs to get a "let's go" in there, or add a cuss word in there. Shohei, go ahead, let it loose, man. You're in the playoffs. You're about to be in the World Series. Let a cuss word in there or something. What up, Cheeks?
Yes, what's up?
Look, I just wanted to say you guys are doing an amazing job. April,
We
congratulations.
know. We
Way to
know.
hold it all down.
Yes, we did.
I'll throw in the final question in there for you guys.
Okay.
What do you think is bigger for baseball? The Yankees going to the World Series or the Dodgers going to the World Series?
Ooh.
Oh, go first. Oh, yeah. Go first, April.
Dodger fans don't get mad at me for saying this.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I do think that it's big for the Yankees to go right now. And this is no shade to the Dodgers. I just feel like there's so much more pressure on the Yankees. I think with them having Judge and Soto and all these guys out there, like, yes, we have Shohei, yes, we have Mookie, yes, we have faltered in the postseason many times, but I think that for them and the length of time that it has taken them to actually get to a World Series, it has caused this excitement amongst fans and people in general, which is why it's a 20% increase in people actually watching the postseason. Yes, they're watching it for Shohei. Yes, they're watching it because it's the Yankees and other people. But we can't deny that a team with 27 championships is a factor in how people see exactly what baseball is.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I'm going to have to agree with you. I think it's bigger for baseball to see the Yankees in the World Series. It's huge for baseball to see the Dodgers just because of Shohei.
Well, we
And
just
to
won one.
see, yeah. But I mean, you just won one in 2020, you know what I'm saying? So, like, but at the same time, you got all these superstars, you got so much money involved with both teams, but obviously with the Dodgers, with all the signings that they had this offseason, and the trades that they made and all the players that they just have on their roster, like the superstar MVP caliber players that they have on their roster. It's big for the Dodgers to get there, but the Yankees, to your point, not getting there since 2009.
Right.
Where they won, but just and it's the Yankees. Like I said, it's the world known Yankees. People know that there's Yankee fans in Antarctica. There's Yankee fans everywhere. So it just bigger for baseball in general. Every aspect of it. If the Yankees are in the World Series, it'll be big for baseball if the Dodgers are and the Yankees are in the World Series. But I
Yes.
think it's definitely bigger for the Yankees to be in the World Series for sure.
Yes, they're literally the most storied franchise. And I have too many Yankee friends, like my principal, my dad, one
Oh
of
yeah.
the coaches. Like, they're gonna remind you 27. We're the most storied franchise of any sport. And so I think all of that plays a large factor in that. And also, let me say this too. There have been so many people are talking about the road to the World Series for the Yankees, that they had a much easier route than, of course, the National League. It was a complete dogfight. So I do think that some people are wondering, them making it to the World Series, how are they going to fare against whatever team that they are playing to? Like, are they really that team because of the route they took, or are they going to have some struggles versus who they match up with?
I mean, we we gonna see. we
And
we gonna
soon.
see. They in there. They waiting. They're watching this game. They're doing scouting reports and advanced scouting and all that kind of stuff. So we gonna see what happens with the Yankees. But I think they'll be fine regardless of who they play. It's gonna be a little tougher.
Yeah.
Sorry Mets fans. I got some Mets fan friends, but I think it'll be a little tougher for the Yankees if the Dodgers are in the World Series with them. But regardless, man, you make it to the World Series, you earned it. It's gonna be a tough series. Regardless, I'm not gonna say how many games I think, but it's gonna be a good World Series, just like the rest of this playoffs has been amazing.
It's been a fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, we did that
Yeah,
again.
I know.
Once again.
Laying the plane, April. You guys have done great.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in with us tonight. Lewis and I appreciate you. Don't forget to follow us on social media. We're giving out a lot of commentary. We're sharing baseball info at all times. But we will see you on Tuesday night. We'll be back with the crew. And we will be talking about this epic series because it's going to be done by Tuesday. So, regardless of who you have in the fight, whether it's the Dodgers or the Mets, we will be discussing that as well. So, yes, thank you for tuning in to Black Baseball Mixtape, and we will see y'all next time. Bye.